Welcome back, everybody. We are ready to kick off our next napkin numbers. We're going to talk about something that comes up a lot on our side of the fence is making sure somebody's company's bankable. I think most people, when they look at their company and they're so busy every day in, day out, generating revenue, trying to cut back costs and make that profit on the bottom line, they don't always think about, well, how does this look to a bank? And so some of the things we're going to cover today really has to do with that. And it might seem simple, but it's not always easy when you're focusing on how do I make sure my company stays in business. So Rahsaan, why don't you kick us off with some of the things that you see a lot when you're out there in the field?
Yeah, companies looking to grow, right? You can grow organically, and to do that, you need money, right? Working capital. Maybe you got to buy equipment. You're in a business that is a service-based business, and you've been awarded a large contract opportunity, and you're trying to staff up for it now, and you've got to pay all this money up front, float it for 90 to 120 days. And as a business owner, you're going, how do I do this? I don't have this kind of cash laying around. That's where being bankable and having access to capital, working capital specifically, comes into play. There are three things that a lot of banks will underwrite off of when they're trying to qualify somebody for a working capital loan. And that can be in the form of a term loan or a line of credit. And those are leverage, liquidity, and coverage, right? Those three ratios will help a banker kind of pinpoint if you're going to fall on that approvable scale or not. And usually they can eyeball this stuff off the balance sheet and income statement. But you as a business owner, if you understand how your company is going to be viewed by a lending institution, it's going to greatly help you navigate that conversation and give you the ability to get approved to get money to grow. You also need to budget and plan for this stuff. So don't wait till the last minute, go out, win this business, and then try to go get the money, because that's usually when the bank's going to say, no, too risky. If you come ahead of time with a plan and say, hey, I'm trying to pursue these types of contracts, here's what I want to do, you can start talking through that plan with your banker and getting everything ready for when the time is right to apply for that capital. And again, that can come in the form of a term loan or a line of credit. Depending on your type of business, one is better than the other, depending on what you want to do. What about you, Scott? I know we're working with a lot of folks right now that are needing money and looking to grow. What are you seeing?
The number one thing I see is having a banker that's their advocate. I think too often people get caught up in the numbers and they don't have somebody telling their story and saying, this is how my business works. This is the risk. Here's how you mitigate it. And that's one of the things that you can tackle just by talking to your banker, by interviewing them and saying what kind of situations they funded successfully in the past, or how they would be your advocate, right? What do they understand about your business? If really you get an email every 2 to 3 months and it says, hey, how you doing? Hope everything's great. Let me know if you need anything. It's not really a proactive relationship. If it's somebody that's sitting down at a certain frequency, 2, 3, 4 times a year going, tell me what's going on. Here's what we see in the industry. Here are the things I see in your company. Here's how we can position you for success. And they're taking the time to really understand your business. That's one of the things that tends to be missing when we're out there talking to business owners that are looking to buy or sell companies is I don't have somebody that understands me. So I don't really know what that next step is for financing my company.
And having that access to capital is the make or break barometer for most businesses. We've seen the ones that have done really, really good managing it, and they just have grown in a very manageable way, versus the ones who didn't have that access to capital, unfortunately had to close their doors. And those are not fun to see happen. So make sure you're planning, for getting working capital and knowing how to have those conversations with your banker and getting your company prepared. Again, you also need to loop in your CPA, more than likely, to make sure you've got everything in the right place for these financial institutions to properly evaluate your company.
So thanks for coming back again. We wanted to make this short and sweet, but leverage, liquidity, coverage, keep those numbers, keep those concepts in mind. And thank you for attending Napkin Numbers. We look forward to seeing you again. Like and subscribe to this.